guys, welcome back to the the fifth episode of the Lap Down podcast. Here we've got ourselves joined with up in the top. We got Jamie and Salvish. We got Justin Putzer in the top right. Then we got off to my side. We got Denny Rumble. We got Tyler over on the side, and underneath me we got Ben. So welcome everybody in. And for once, I don't think we got anybody new who needs to introduce themselves. So we can get right into this. So, first thing up on
There's a first for everything.
Yep. So, first thing on the agenda for the day is we're going to be talking about new faces and new places. So, for today, we're going to be talking about Hocevar, who will be taking over the number 77 car, which was previously held by, was it Ty Dillon last year that held that 77 car?
Yep.
And then you got John Hunter Nemechek, who's taking over the 42 previously held by Noah Gregson. So, starting with Ben, right? We said we were going to start with? Yeah, Ben. So, what are your thoughts on those two drivers going to those cars?
What were the names in your
You just roboted. I don't know if anyone else could hear what he said.
What were their names again? Sorry, you were cutting out.
No, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, Ben, we couldn't hear what you said there, so if you could just go again.
I was inside of Walmart. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
What were the names again? Sorry, you cut out.
So the new drivers that we're talking about in new places is Carson Hocevar to the 77, previously held by Ty Dillon, and John Hunter Nemechek taking over the 42, which was previously held by Noah Gregson.
Okay. So I'm not too familiar with the other guy, but John Hunter Nemechek I am familiar with, and I'm hoping he does really good. I think he will do good. I don't know about the other guy. I'm not too familiar, so I'm not going to comment on him. But I think John Hunter Nemechek should improve, and he should be a threat for the top 15, I think.
Was I looking today? How many wins did he have last year? Like 7 or something? It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he had like 6 or 7 in trucks, so which is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Wait, what wasn't he? What team was he running for though? I didn't
Nemechek?
Oh, Nemco? Okay.
No. Are you asking about John Hunter Nemechek, which team he was driving for?
Oh, he was driving for.
Yeah, he was driving Gibbs Xfinity cars full time.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we're talking Carson Hocevar. He had pretty impressive year too.
Yeah, Hocevar was in Nice Motorsports last year. Mm-hmm. So, JP, you're next on.
So, in my opinion, Hocevar impressed me so much in the start he made before that incident where he had, I think it's throttle hung, if I remember right. Isn't that what happened?
You're talking about the Gateway wreck, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where he was driving the number 7 car.
Yeah, that kid was very impressive. As for John Hunter Nemechek, I expect going out on a limb and saying he's going to have 3 top 10s and 5 top 5s with 1 win.
Ooh.
So you think John Hunter Nemechek's going to win a race for Legacy Motor Club?
I honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. On to Tyler.
I actually am going to stem off of that, JP. I do actually think John Hunter Nemechek will get a win. He's a good super speedway driver. He's also a very good road course racer. So yeah, I could see him. He's a very good road course racer if you've seen in the Xfinity series.
Yeah.
I think what's back with, like I said, the new Toyota coming out too. Just remember that it's brand new. Legacy is backed up by Joe Gibbs and 2311. So they're going to be getting Gibbs motors and stuff like that. So they're going to have to power, and they also have the manufacturer back up. I think John Hunter Nemechek's going to make the playoffs this year. And with Carson Hocevar being in the 77, I don't think he's going to. For his first full rookie season, I don't expect much from him. I expect maybe like 15th to 20th, right around there. I don't expect anything much other than that. I mean, Hocevar did show flashes of brilliance when he did run with that 7 car at Gateway, but that was just one run. He also ran pretty well in that 42 car. Well, when Noah Erickson was out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think like I said, Aspire Motorsports is a newer team coming. And they are backed up by Trackhouse and Hendrick. But I don't see Carson Hocevar doing much more than top 20 this season.
Okay.
All right, Rumble, you want to say something?
Well, I think top 20 actually seems ambitious. Want to talk John Hunter? You want to talk John Hunter there? What were his stats last year? He had very impressive stats last year, did he not? Now he's coming back to the Cup, and I think he had pretty impressive stats last year, did he not?
John Hunter Nemechek. He ended up getting 7 wins, 17 top 5s, and in that number 20 Xfinity car, along with 11 stage wins, driving the number 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity.
So I would think that if he's in the right equipment, he should be able to reproduce that, and to some extent. I don't not that extent, because again you're jumping up, but I feel like he's got a real good chance there. I mean, those are impressive stats, right? You're one series down and doing very well, so it seems like the obvious move that coming back there, that maybe this time they can get it done.
All right, and then up to Jamie.
So, what was, if you remember correctly, when he went back to the extending series, what was one of the biggest things that he said he wanted to do?
You talking about Nemechek?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm talking about John Hunter Nemechek.
That's who he's talking about, yeah.
He said he wanted to win races and be competitive.
Exactly.
And that's what he did when he stepped down to trucks, too.
That's true. That is true.
So, the thing is, I don't know how to convey that in my head. It could be someone who just isn't able to keep up with the talent of the main Cup Series, and then gets a little mad and decides that he wants to go back and try to refine himself and dominate and be competitive, and he just doesn't like the growing pains of the sport.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't really see much from either driver this season. I see John Hunter probably having an average season, which for him would be a career best in the Cup Series at least.
Yep.
Hocevar, I think in the long run, I'd choose Hocevar over John Hunter Nemechek. That's my bold prediction. Come 4 years from now, Hocevar will be a bigger name than Hunter Nemechek.
Right.
Excuse me if I'm wrong here. I'm just going to throw this out here. Is not Hocevar also known as not being kind of he's a bit of a dirty racer?
Yeah, I think it was at Lucas Oil last year or 2 years ago that he went and turned someone into the wall.
He also did it in championship part 2 as well.
He's got a little bit of that Chastain in him.
Yeah, okay, well, that's not a bad thing in my book. So.
No, I think it's going to definitely bring some entertainment to it. I think when it comes to super speedways, though, that's where he's going to have to be careful, because he doesn't want to get a motto named after him like Ricky Stenhouse did.
Right.
So
No.
I think
No.
I think he just got to be a little careful with that. And just one more time, as a reminder, if it's not your turn, just keep yourself on mute as much as possible. And then once they're
son
done
of a
talking,
bitch.
Oh, is my mic still going? I thought I had it muted.
yeah, it was still going. But it's still good. But yeah, that's my take on it, Ryan.
All right, so I think I have a little bit lower expectations from especially the. No, I think Hocevar. He only just now got his first win in trucks this past year, and honestly, up until I think it was either Kansas or maybe the Nashville race where he finally actually had a convincing win. Because I know his first win or two came under kind of late wreck circumstances that led to him taking the lead. So honestly, outside the super speedways, I don't see Hocevar really competing for significant finishes in the Spire Motorsports car, because I think that car, even compared to the Legacy Motor Club car that he was driving last year, I think that is still a step down for him compared to where he was. So I would expect probably somewhere between 20th to 25th place finishes most of the season. Maybe an occasional top 15 at a super speedway or short track, but beyond that, I see him kind of taking some time to actually acclimate to the NASCAR Cup Series and to that lesser car than what he had. So, and then for John Hunter Nemechek, I do expect a little bit more out of him because I think that the Toyotas will be better, especially with the brand new Camry. But I find it hard to imagine that team's going to jump up 10 or 15 places in the overall standings. I think a successful season for Nemechek in that 42 car would be a finishing position of somewhere, a final points standings of somewhere in the 18 to 20th range, somewhere in that range of points with a few top 10s to highlight either at super speedways or possibly road courses. But the talent in the cup level is just so much higher than what he was competing with in Xfinity. I think expecting a win is definitely on the extremely high end of what realistic expectations should be for him. And I think now that everybody's spoken, I think we get to go and talk about some paint schemes. So here we go. So
yeah, paint schemes.
Yep. So I'm gonna be going through them somewhat quickly because we do have a lot of them to go through. But we've got, we'll be starting with this paint scheme here for Ross Chastain. So we'll just kind of go through everybody's thoughts on them somewhat quickly here. So.
And the idea of this is you're
for...
going to be given a green flag if you like it, a red flag if you don't like it, or if it's worse than 2023 season.
I can't see it. It's not loading on my end, so I'm out.
Let me try unloading and reloading it real quick for you guys. So you able to see it now?
Right now, it's just circling around 2 squares. I don't see anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I see it.
Okay.
I think it's just you, Ben. What you need to do is you need to tap on it to watch the stream, then go back to our normal view, and then it'll just pop up on the top.
I might just exit and come back. Well. See if it loads. It might be my connection right now. Yeah, it's not loading. It's my connection.
All right.
Okay. Well, once it does load, just let us know.
So I guess that means that JP will be starting with the paint scheme reactions. JP.
Oh. Yep, I'm here.
All right.
So I'm gonna watch paint scheme driver of the number 1. I think I'm giving it a red flag
All
And
right.
what's your reason for that red flag?
because, in my opinion, they didn't do new as good a job as what they did at Stuart Haas.
All right. Tyler?
If I had to choose, I don't want to give it a red flag or a green flag. It's honestly meh. It could, and honestly, it could be better. I mean, the silver is nice with the one, but if I had to choose, if I have to choose either a red or a yellow or yellow or green, I'm gonna have to go with a red because I can't give it a yellow. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst scheme I've ever seen from Bush.
All right.
I think it's mid. That's how I put it.
All right. Rumble? Say,
Rumble,
Jamie,
you are
you want to
muted
go
if you
since
don't
looks like
realize it.
Rumble
That guy
walked away
who's
for a
gonna
minute?
talk.
Nope.
I think he's loading
Oh,
back
is he
in.
coming
I
back?
think he needed to smoke.
Okay, well, while he's loading back in, I'll go ahead and do mine since I'm after him.
Yep.
So I think this is a green flag. I think this car looks clean, and I really like uh the way that they mixed in the white with the blue, incorporating the mountains on the side. I don't know. I'm a fan of it. I think it looks good, especially with the number placement and how kind of has that icy feel on the number one as well, to where it goes with the color scheme, but it's not overpowering. So I give it a green flag.
All right. And Rumble, you there? Because I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just having issues trying to look at the pictures of these cars. You know what?
Oh, okay.
I don't really care about paint. I don't really care about paint fucking schemes. I want to know who's going past. We'll discuss this later. But yeah, paint schemes. None of it looks impressive to me. So sorry,
All right. So,
it's a nothing to me.
all right. For
I'm
me,
sorry guys. You should have excluded me from this one because I know paint schemes is important to a lot of people. Y'all share them, but I just don't care. I want to know who's fast.
To be very honest, I respect that. That's completely understandable.
Sorry guys.
All right. Well, I would say that I actually like this scheme a little bit better than the Kevin Harvick Busch schemes. Now, I don't know if it's just because the reflective number one, the silvery chrome reflective number one versus because Kevin Harvick never really ran the chrome number. I mean, I know the chrome number is still kind of new in its kind of return to the Cup Series, but I think it's going to look really nice, especially if they run this for night races in particular. Now, I'd be shocked if this car isn't running at the Busch Clash next weekend, but yeah, I think
whose car are you talking about here right now?
Ross Chastain's
Yeah, okay,
Bushmobile.
I actually saw some pictures of it this week, and I like it. It's nothing spectacular. It looks good. I think it's a sharp looking car, but nothing special. And I agree with you. It would actually look better in a night race.
I actually, Ryan, can I add something onto what I said? Actually,
Yep.
I'm actually gonna say it looks better than Kevin Harvick's scheme. Like it actually kind of flows a little bit better. I mean, I'm still gonna throw the red flag with it, but I still kind of it does look better on a Chevy, honestly. Like the way it just contours of the Camaro.
Yeah, and compared to some of the other schemes, I think they utilize the space that is created from moving the number forward a lot better than some of the other schemes, which we will get to in a minute. But yeah, ultimately, I'd say I'd give it a green flag, though, especially if I'm directly comparing it to the Busch cars of the last 2 or 3 years. So here we go, on to the next scheme, which will be the Moose, beamoose.com or .org car. So, JP.
Alright, so it's my turn, and I think this game gets a green flag.
All right. Why do you think it gets a green flag?
I really like the attention to detail. Red and black to make it seem like they go well together. And the sponsor logo looks pretty decent on front.
All right.
All right. So now I can see the picture of this number one moose car.
So,
It's not. It's not. It's not bugly.
all right, Tyler, you're up next.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yep.
Honestly, I'm definitely giving this a green flag because it's honestly it's actually the way it make I personally like black teams, so that's already automatically win for me. But I like how they blended the black and the red on the sides, especially using the logo and then the wording to fit in the space. Really good, and I like the way they have the number and the red number one on the side is phenomenal. The white outline, and plus having the black number one actually kind of goes back to if you think about Steve Park's black number one. That's what it reminds me of up on top.
All right. So then Rumble kind of already gave his thoughts. So Jamie, you're up next.
Curse you, Tyler. Curse you. I was going to make a Steve Park reference and you beat me to it.
Son of a gun.
So, if I was to be able to make a good paint scheme on any of the NASCAR Heat video games, this is an example of how I would do it. Especially, y'all know I like running the number 8 car, going back to DEI. This gives me like a DEI kind of feel to it. Like mentioning like Steve Park and the way that the number one looks and the contrast when it comes with the background. This definitely looks like something that I would do. So for that, I'm giving it a green flag.
Green flag, baby.
You hit the nail on the head right there. That I was actually thinking about that. I just couldn't say it.
All right. So, and I think that leaves it at my turn, which would be yeah, I gotta say, I love this paint scheme. I've always found the "Be a Moose" kind of slogan on the side being kind of funny because obviously I live up here and I see moose every once in a while, so it's not all that out of the ordinary to imagine being a moose. I mean, we learn moose evasive maneuvers in driver's ed. Not sure how many other people do, but so
don't hit them.
Yep.
Hold on. I gotta interrupt for a second here. What is evasive maneuvers for a moose? I gotta understand.
Get away
this.
from it.
So
Get away from
I was
it.
just about to say.
Get away from it.
So
it's gonna come through your windshield. It's got long
their eyes don't.
Eggs, and it's gonna come through your windshield.
Yeah, their eyes don't reflect headlights because they're too tall. So going in between trees and stuff keeps them from being able to get to you. To evade a moose.
I've had some scary encounters with fucking.
Because compared to, like, for example, because everybody kind of compares them to deer. Deer's eyes will reflect the headlights because they're not that much taller than the car. 99% of the time. Smart cars might be a different story.
Usually, if you hit a deer with your car, it goes flying down the road, or maybe comes up. You fucking crack a moose. He's coming down on his big broken legs, and he's going right through your windshield.
Yep.
Swamp donkeys.
So moose weigh almost like 12 to 1,300 pounds, dude. If you hit that,
they're massive.
Yeah.
Your car. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. And that's why we learn how to evade moose. But
I was hoping to see one.
I hit a deer. Speaking of deer, I hit a deer the other day with my car, and it didn't do nearly as much as the damage as what a moose would do.
Yeah.
No. Did he come through your windshield and fuck your life up?
No.
This is why you come. This is why you come on the Lap Down podcast.
Yep, to hear a discussion about moose. But going back to this paint scheme though.
Brian,
getting off track here.
Next paint scheme, Brian.
Yeah, going back though to the paint scheme. personally, I mean, I don't know what it is about the colors, but they kind of speak to me a little bit. But it's not because my logo is red and black or anything on my own YouTube channel. But yeah, I think that paint scheme would look perfect if you just slap my logo on the front of it and yeah, go about your day. But again, kind of going back to the same thing I said about the other number one cars, that I think they utilize the space even better on this one than they did on the other one when it comes to utilizing the space created by sliding that number forward. Because honestly, with a lot of the
I
next
hate
gen
that.
paint schemes, that's my biggest thing I look for is, do they at least make use of the fact that we slid the numbers forward? Because if we're going to slide them forward, I at least want them to be making use of the space. Because some of these cars,
That's a very
it
valid
doesn't
point.
feel like
That's
it
a very
makes a
valid point, Ryan.
difference.
Because I think
I like the layout.
it doesn't look right with the number right up at the front quarter panel. It never will to me. So I hear you there, but if you're gonna do it, utilize the space that's there. At least you did it for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I get really upset with some of these schemes where they don't utilize that space effectively, where it's like, so we moved the numbers forward, and you still couldn't use that space. But
right. Why did we do this? Yeah,
but
I hear you.
And say for the Trackhouse number one car though, on both of their schemes, they did pretty well with that. So I think everybody got a chance to talk about that scheme. So on to the next one, which is incredibly boring. JP?
Nothing new to see here.
Red flag, red flag. It looks the same as last season. No kings. That is my reason for giving it a red flag.
It hasn't loaded on my end yet.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to say a red flag myself. The only really different part is the Dark Horse front end, which actually kind of makes it look cool. But they could have done something different. They could have done more red, honestly, instead of having the white. This is literally Brad last piece scheme from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I will say, Jamie, do you want to add?
Like literally.
Jamie or Rumble, either
10
one of you
years
guys
ago.
want to add anything before I go on to mine?
Honestly, I
think
just
we're going to hear a lot of the same about this one.
This looks
I
like the
should be
scheme
able
that
to-
I would always skip on the game.
Yeah, for me,
I would never run this scheme.
yeah, for me, I'm
Ryan,
just disappointed
honestly
because
just
it
move on to the next
doesn't
one.
feel like this scheme has changed at all since 2018 when Discount Tire came back to the Cup Series with Brad Keselowski. It doesn't feel like they've changed or updated the paint scheme whatsoever. And for some schemes, that's okay. I mean, some schemes can go unchanged for long amounts of time and still make it work. But with some of these, it's like you could have updated it at some point. Maybe add a little bit more red, or maybe even throw a tire on the side of the paint scheme. Maybe throw a spare on the deck lid or something. I don't know.
That actually would have been cool. Have like a tire, a Goodyear tire on the side.
Yeah, or even
And smoke on the
do
side
like
on
the
the
leaning
wheels.
tower of tires from the Cars movie. Have that somewhere on the side of the paint scheme.
That would actually be kind of cool. Anyway, what's the next scheme, Ryan?
Yeah, yes, I think we've said enough about seeing the same scheme for the last 7 years. JP, we got the Austin Dillon car here.
So, wop, red flag.
All right.
So, and the reason is I can't. I think the orange would look better on the front than the whatever you call it,
The roof.
yeah, the roof.
The roof is on fire.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm gonna give it. JP, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to give it a red flag myself, honestly, only because the only thing they changed was adding camo instead of black. It's literally the same scheme as last year, just with camo.
It's a rehash, basically.
It really is.
I mean, I
It's-
like
I like it, but it's just like I like the cam. Don't get me wrong. It's just literally like nothing changed. So they
Yeah, literally nothing's really changed.
And with that, like I appreciate the hunter mode that they went with it, but when you're talking about the paint scheme as a whole, you have to look at the logos. You have to look what's written on the car. So like when it's talking about tracker for boats and ATVs, that has nothing to do with hunting. That has something to do with like fishing and.
trackers.
They,
Trackers have ATVs have one thing, but it's the boats don't have anything to do with it.
yeah, so I mean, they could have went with a different color. Maybe they made it white and made the number a different color. That probably would have looked better.
Like a red. Ooh, they could have done a red number 3 or a black number 3.
Yeah, I probably
the
would
black
like that.
probably would have blended it. And say if they went with a black number 3, that might blend in too much on the side, especially on the top half of the number.
I think a red number. I say keep the white number 3 on the side and have the red 3 on the top.
What they could have done is they could have done a reflective orange number 3 and changed the color of the top.
Yeah,
they could have done that. Yeah,
yeah, that would have like a not a semi gloss,
Maybe black,
not matte, but like a black semi gloss, not like chrome, but have a black gloss and have have more of the put the cam instead of the orange on the hood. Put the orange on the hood and put the camo on the top. That would actually look pretty good.
Yeah, I will say, I actually quite like the camo idea that they were going for, and I do like the effort to try and make the cars different than, because obviously Bass Pro sponsors a couple different drivers in the Cup Series. And I like their effort nowadays to try and make the cars actually look different. That way MTJ's tracker / Bass Pro car looks different than Austin Dillon's. Because back in the day, if you guys remember, I think it was the 2016 or 2017 Brickyard race. You had both MTJ and Tony Stewart lining up with identical looking Bass Pro paint schemes, and it was kind of the embodiment of why my friends said that they didn't like NASCAR. Is the cars just all look exactly the same, and when you have two,
that was 2016, and I was at that race, and it was awful.
Yeah, just trying to tell the two cars apart. I like it when they go and make both of their cars significantly different, but I will say it isn't a significant improvement over last year. I would probably say I'll still give it a green flag because it's not a bad scheme, and it's not like we've seen it for 12 years in a row unchanged. So I'll still say green flag, but be careful. It will eventually start to get old. Any other thoughts that we didn't get to on that one, or did everybody get a chance?
I'm going to pass. Let's move on.
All right. There we go. That's something new.
That reminds me of the old, was it Morgan Shepherd? The skull.
Yeah, that's either that or I know what you're talking about, Ben. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The skull car.
Yeah.
Say, JP,
it looks exactly like.
Yeah, I know.
Hey guys, it's my turn.
Sorry, JP. Go ahead.
So I will give it a green flag. It looks sick. It looks mighty good. And that's the reason I'm giving it a green flag. Booty. The paint scheme looks awesome.
All right. We'll head over to Ben now, since I think Ben can actually start seeing schemes now.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
I love it. It reminds me of the old Skull car, or even the Kodiak car. Like, I like it. It reminds me of like an old school tobacco car. Even they don't make them no more, but that's what it looks like. Reminds me of.
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna give this a green flag. It looks clean. I actually like how they didn't like overpower it with both colors. I like the Stuart Haas logo right in the front. That's pretty cool, and the colors blended nicely. I
You know
like
what it
it.
looks
You know,
Sorry, you know what it looks like?
it looks like a lighter version of the Hunt's Brother Pizza one.
It looks like a Maverick cigarette box.
It kind of does, actually. Now that I see it, Ben,
It looks
I
like a
see,
menthol Maverick.
and I like it. I also like how the colors contour with the new Ford front end. It actually looks kind of badass. Yeah, that's a green flag for me all the way.
Definitely.
All right. I know Rumble said he doesn't really care about the paint scheme, so up to Jamie.
Oh, I mean, this looks like a scheme that if I got into NASCAR, I would like to run. Just like kind of repeating off of what everybody else said, it has that vintage NASCAR look, with the modern day equipment, which I can appreciate. Um, it's simple, but not too simple. It's just well put together. I give it a big green flag.
Like I said, Jamie, I didn't like I said, if you think about it, look at that front end, look how it blends into colors. Doesn't that look badass?
Oh yeah, especially when you factor in how like the black around the Ford Mustang logo, so you just see the Harrison's logo, and then the lone Mustang trotting its way to the front of the racetrack.
Yeah. So
What do you think, Ryan?
what was that?
What do you think?
So I think a lot. I kind of think similar to a lot of you guys. The Skull Bandit car from decades ago. It definitely looks like that. I think I remember most vividly. I think I remember the someone doing a throwback to that scheme. I think it was like 5-6 years ago now, but this is one of the first schemes I saw on the new Ford Mustang body as well, and I will say that front end is going to take some getting used to just because it's so different from what we've seen from Ford for the last, like, how long has the Mustang been in the Cup Series now? 5, 6, 7 years now almost. But
Actually, the
ultimately,
Mustang was different in 2022, though. If you think about it, it wasn't. It was different from the 2019 version.
yeah, but for the most part, the grill still looked the same, which is the part that
Yeah.
I think looks the most vividly different on the Dark Horse Mustang that they introduced this year.
Actually, can I say something real quick?
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of the early. Kind of reminds me of the early years of the new next gen Xfinity car back in the early 2010s.
Yeah, it definitely it feels like the Xfinity car, especially from like the 2016, 2017 era Xfinity cars, but it's just going to take some getting used to on the Cup car, but ultimately that's one of my favorite shades of green, and I think they've utilized the side door fairly well. I can't say I know what Harrison's is from looking at the paint scheme off the top of my head, but everything's in nice clear letters so I can actually read what the sponsor is when it's going past me at 200 miles an hour in the grandstands. So I think this one definitely gets a green flag from me. Because that's one of the biggest things is like I have to actually be able to. I like to be able to know what the product is from looking at it on the racetrack. I can at least read this one as it goes by, but there isn't really anything on it that tells me what this is. Anyone even know what this product is? Harrison's?
Nah, I never even heard of them.
Okay, just wasn't sure. I'm assuming maybe it's a clothing brand because it kind of the branding kind of looks like what I would imagine Carhartt would have for a paint scheme, but yeah, I don't really know off the top of my head.
Let me grab my iPad and I can look it up.
But
Give me a second. I'll look it up.
It's a coat store. It's a coat brand. It's actually it actually has Carhartt. Speaking of,
hey, I'm pretty good at identifying companies, I guess. We're on to our next one here.
Okay, now this, JP, what's your personal opinion on this one?
Yep, we're on to the next car here.
So, the number 4, red flag, because the paint scheme looks the same as what was on the 17 before. all they did was swap the number and swap cars. So red flag for me. Um, I'm not sure if it's like the same sponsor as Sunny D or what the sponsor actually is. But if it is a new sponsor, it kind of reminds me of the Sunny D number 17 car.
No, it is Sunny D, isn't it?
Yeah, that is exactly Sunny D. It's the same company,
It's Sunny D.
JP.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right.
So,
Over to Ben now.
All right, so I'm gonna go on a small Ben rant. All right, went to Taco Bell in Milford, Delaware. They didn't give me a fork for my nachos, and they also didn't give me my fire sauce, which I'm kind of upset about. And a rant. Anyway, I agree with JP. It's a rehash. I mean, I love the Sunny D colors and stuff, but yeah, it's a rehash. They could have came up with something completely different, like a different type of scheme for it. I mean, same colors because it's Sunny D, but could have figured out something a little different.
I think Rumble was trying to say something, but can't hear him.
You're muted, Rumble.
No, he's not muted.
He's not muted now.
Okay, well, I can't
Oh,
hear
there he-
him. I was gonna say, it doesn't look muted
heard
on
him.
my end, but I'm not hearing him.
I heard
He
him
said he's
from-
restarting his stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna say honestly, I know it's an old scheme that they just rehashed, but you can't go wrong with Sunny D. It's honestly a classic scheme from the whole like mid 2010s. I actually personally like it. It's one of my favorite schemes. Always liked it when it was on Ricky Stenhouse and on Chris Buescher and when Kevin Harvick ran it. I'm gonna have to give it a green light, even though it's one we've seen before. But I think it's just like one of my personal favorite schemes, so I have to give it a green flag.
I'm gonna give it a red flag. It's just too busy. Too many colors all flashing at the same time. Granted, I had to really look at it just to see if I could even spot the Sunny D bottle on the side of it.
As much as I hate to say it, gentlemen, I have to go, guys.
Okay.
Have a good night, guys.
Yep. Take care, man. Ben, with your rant, do you think a bottle of Sunny D would have made it better?
Probably not. Sunny D is not something I would quench my thirst over. Plus, I
Go
do
ahead,
have
Ryan.
Baja Blast anyway. So.
Oh, and there we go. All right, so my thoughts on the scheme. I think it's one of the few paint schemes that I don't think really needs to change. Now, if they did completely overhaul it, I wouldn't mind. But it's one of those where I would be very careful about messing with it because I don't want to mess it up compared to what it, from what it used to be and what it is now. I don't want them to completely overhaul it to the point where it ends up looking worse than it did before. So that's kind of my opinion on it. I think it's one of the best schemes that we've had in NASCAR, and it's one of the few that hasn't had significant changes. But I don't think it needs significant changes either. So there we go. Did everybody get their comments in about that one? Oh, wow, we got a lot of people in here. Where'd everybody go?
I don't know.
All right,
But
well,
there's so much going on.
I guess on to the next one here, and we got a classic.
Ooh.
So, JP, you want to take away on this one?
Yeah, so the red and white, I just love it, for Kyle Larson. So I'm giving it a green flag.
All right. Ben, you want to go?
Oh, I love this one. It brings back old school with new school vibes. I like it.
All right. And
Yeah,
oh,
this scheme is probably my favorite of the Valvolines I've seen in most recent years. I think they incorporated the blue nicely, along with the red and the red and the white. Uh, Most likely, it's probably going to run at Bristol because it seems like this scheme always runs at Bristol.
yeah,
So,
for the night
looking forward to
race.
seeing it.
Yep. So I look forward to seeing this car on track too. Not sure what races it will run at. It'll probably run at the Fall Bristol, but besides that, because they seem to get what 4 or 5 races annually. So
That's what it seems like.
yeah, so
It's
I think it's a good solid scheme, especially like under the lights, the white kind of core of the car, not looking at just the side, but like the top over the top, the white. I've always said white cars I think work better for night races than day races. So if this was, but this car, honestly, I don't think you could go wrong with these colors on this car, and they certainly didn't here. So I think this one definitely green flag.
I can't really tell, but did they make the top number blue with a
Uh,
red trim?
yeah, it's a dark blue with a red trim. Yeah,
That's solid. I love it.
yeah, it helps contrast because if it were a white number with a white background, then it would just look like the outline of the red outline would be the only thing, and it'd be hard for the spotter to see honestly from the roof. Then we got the very classic, very standard Ricky Hendrick throwback car.
red flag.
All right, why is it a red flag?
Because it kind of reminds me of what Kyle Watson's been running for years now.
All right, Ben.
It's the same paint scheme that we've seen multiple times. I mean, it's I like it, but can we get something different?
Yeah. Jamie, anything to add?
Not much to add on this one. I kind of agree with everybody else.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of you guys. I would actually like to see him maybe run the Nation's Guard car more, because I know that's still a Hendrick Cars brand. The Nation's Guard, I don't really know what they are specifically, but I'd at least like to see them run some other Hendrick Cars brands. Maybe even shift up the colors. Keep the Ricky Hendrick one a few times to still pay tribute. Maybe run this car at both Kansas races, but beyond that, I think I'd like to see a different set of colors for the primary. Even if it's not a major shift, but just seeing like a small shift for the primary scheme. But at this point, I think this is gonna end up becoming just another staple scheme that we see for another 10, 20 years probably, at least until Larson leaves.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he has a shadow following him.
Yep. Then we got the scheme for the Indy 500 Coke 600 double. JP, you want to start off with that one?
Okay, this one gets a green flag
All right. Why does it get a green flag?
because it is totally different than what Kyle Watson's ran in the past. They put a lot of thought into the paint scheme for the two cars to look identical. Both his Indy 500 efforts, as we all know, he's going to the Indy 500. That's a topic for later, but bottom line is because of that, Uh, the two cars look similar, but the stop car looks really, really cool to me.
All right, Ben.
It looks like an inverted paint scheme from the previous one we just saw. It's nothing different. I mean, it looks nice, but it's just a rehash of the other one, just inverted.
All right, Jamie.
See, unlike Ben, I would give this a green flag, and I would, even if they didn't incorporate like the orange, if they just inverted the Hendrick cars primary scheme like they did with this, I would be okay with that. I would have given that one a green flag as well. But just because the last one looks so similar to how it has been, that's why I got the red flag. But I really like the scheme. I appreciate working together to make it look like what his IndyCar is going to look like, and I think it looks good.
All right.
I think they should run this full time in replace of the other one.
Rumble, did you have something to say about this or no? Okay, I guess not. I thought I heard Rumble trying
Hello.
to chime
Yeah,
in there.
no. I'm here. I'm just trying to preserve battery life. My phone's fucking dying. You guys were all Mr. Roboto there for a minute, so.
Okay, yeah, I just thought I heard you
Um,
talking, so I wanted to make sure that if you wanted to get something in, that you got a chance to say it.
Oh, I was asking my wife to fucking roll a joint.
Okay, all right. Well, going on to this scheme for my personal thoughts, I like it. I like the idea that they incorporated the McLaren orange that will be on his McLaren Indy car that he's going to be running. I just kind of wish that there was a little bit of that, either maybe a star pattern or something, because it is going to be run on Memorial Day weekend. I'd like to see a little bit of something attempting to try and make it patriotic, although I don't think red and orange necessarily work perfectly together. I think having some kind of star pattern somewhere would have definitely helped the theming for this car for Memorial Day weekend, but all in all, I'd still give it a green flag because I like the fact that they at least did something different, and the fact that they made the effort to theme it up to the Indy car that will be run on in the Indy 500, which fulfilled.
Yeah, even if they put the star pattern like on the number itself,
Yeah.
that would have been pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, even if they had to hide it in there, like what they did for Alex Bowman back when he drove the '88 car, he had that dark blue car where there was some slightly lighter blue stars and stripes mixed in, but you couldn't really see it unless you were really paying attention. So I think that's everything for this paint scheme. So let's go on to the next one. Oh, there we go. So we got the consumer cellular car for Brad Keselowski. JP, take it away.
So I have to give this one a green flag.
All right.
It's a new sponsor. That means new paint scheme. I haven't seen it sponsor before with Brad Keselowski, and for that reason, I give it a green flag.
Okay, I need to.
All right. Ben?
I will say there's a lot of orange.
Yep.
It kind of gives me a little bit of a Home Depot old school vibes. I'm a sucker for orange on black, and I don't know. I kind of like it. I dig it. I'll give it a pass.
All right, Jamie?
I feel like I would like it a lot more had it not been for the chrome number. The chrome number just kind of throws it off to me, and it's one of those things like it's the little details, and had the number just been like white, like the number been white, I probably would have been okay with it. But trademark RFK always going with the chrome numbers. I don't know. I'm not. I give it a red flag just because I don't like the numbers.
I did spot the chrome number two. I kind of agree. It should have been black.
I would have liked to have seen maybe match the dark blue on the back of the scheme for the number color. Honestly, if I was gonna color the number, I would have probably made it a chrome version of the same blue that's on the back half of the car. But it looks like they use that for the outline.
Is it blue? Oh, that's a blue.
Yeah, it's kind of like a navy almost.
Okay.
Yeah. It actually, to me, looks a lot like his King's Hawaiian car that he ran a couple of times over the last 2 years. And honestly, I love that scheme. I like this one, and I'm not tired of it yet, so I'm all good to keep seeing it. But it's kind of one of those schemes where it's like, eventually the colors will probably wear out, and even though it's a new sponsor, the fact that the exact same color pattern was used for the King's Hawaiian car over the last couple years just makes it feel like we have seen it, even though it is a new sponsor. So there we go. On to the next scheme. And here we go. We got a 2-for-1 here. We got both the Brad Keselowski and the Chris Buescher cars here for JP.
Alright. So, I think it's gotta take a red flag on both of them. This, because I think they could have done better with their green and white. Maybe flop those two around.
All right, Ben.
I'm digging it. It's giving me a minty fresh feeling. It's also giving me some of those old school, like, remember those like cups that had those like that does like similar like design on them. Kind of reminds me of that too. I like it. It's fresh.
Yeah, I agree with Ben. It's I really like the vibe that they're going with it. I just know, as like for spotter's sake, is do your best to keep your eye on which number you're looking at. Because if they're
Yeah.
racing side by side, you're not paying attention, and you're going to start spotting for the wrong car.
That is a key issue there. Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, I don't know for sure, but I would hope that these schemes are going to be run at the night races because, again, I'm not a big fan of the white car during the daytime, but the way that this car looks under the lights, I think could look very cool, especially with like the reflective aqua green number. Now, I will say I wish that there was a little bit more of the aqua green other than just the sonar on the hood and then the couple of very small splashes that we got around. I wish that we had a little bit more of that mixed into the rest of the paint scheme. Also, did the build? Is it just me or did the BuildSubmarines.com thing only pop up after what we all know happened last year? Is it just me or did that just happen to pop up at the same time?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay, just wanted to make
Not
sure.
wrong.
Okay.
No, you're not.
But yeah, I hope that if they are running both these schemes potentially in the same race, that they are like the night race primary scheme, because I think teams having a primary scheme for the day versus night races is really cool and allows them to design differently depending on whether they're designing day or night. But either way, I think these cars will look pretty good, and certainly it's not something we've seen before. Speaking of things we've seen before,
Why are they doing this with multiple schemes?
Bop, bop, bop.
all right, JP, take it away.
Womp, womp, womp. Raise a red flag. A big red flag.
Okay.
It was the same as last year. Get with the program, Roush Friendly Keselowski Racing. It's time to get with the program and come up with something new on the number 6.
Ben,
Yeah, I agree. They could have changed up the paint scheme. They could have made a little more dominant green and then made the black a little less and a little more red and white. They could have done a little bit something different, but yeah, it's just meh. Little eh.
See, I like the scheme. I didn't think they. This was out of last year. This was the one scheme that I actually really liked. So I'm glad that they didn't change it. But again, having both drivers repping the same paint scheme, I'm praying that they don't do this scheme on the same day. Unlike the other ones are cool to run on the same day. Um, but these ones, I hope they do that on separate races because I do really like it.
These look like they would be even harder to tell apart.
For sure.
All right, sorry, I just had to go grab something for research and development purposes. So when I'm comparing the Castrol Edge car, I know it looks identical to last year, but if you think about back to the last time we saw the Castrol car, we've seen a predominantly green car a lot before with the Castrol car, so I don't mind a few years of this dark kind of black design here. Now, I will say the fact that the roof is white on both of them is a little different, but yeah, so it hasn't been that long that we've had the kind of black Castrol Edge car. And again, I think it looks good, but again, it's one of those where you wouldn't want to run both of them at the same time. Even though they do have slight differences. The number on the 6 is outlined in red versus the one on the Busher car is outlined in green. Because that's totally different enough to tell the difference. Now, if I was these teams, I would make the roof number on the Keselowski one all red and the roof number on the 17 all green. That way, if you're the spotter looking at it from the roof, you can actually see a green or a red 6 or 17 to help keep the two separated. Because I don't know, if you're a spotter, you're not very often looking at the side number to tell what car you're spotting for. The roof number is that. Like, isn't that the whole reason that Colleague goes with the bright yellow roof number all the time? No matter what the side number is? Same thing with the Petty going with the Dayglow orange that they always use for the top.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that, and I think that would be a cool thing to do for the top of the car because you don't really see that on TV as much anymore. I know in like classic NASCAR, like they would have like the blimp view and of them going around the track and things like that, but they don't really do that anymore. At least not in the races I've seen.
Yeah, or at least not nearly as frequently as they used to cut to that because it was the new cutting edge technology for a while.
Right.
So, alright, I think that. Alright, we can move on to the next scheme. And we got just a Keselowski car here. They aren't doubling it up, at least not that I can see. So, JP?
So I'll give this one a green flag.
Alright.
I kind of like the black and orange. It's different. Round friendly Keselowski racing, you get to make a fan really happy. By choosing the one that's paint scheme. It looks fantastic. It looks like you can't miss it on the race car.
Alright, Ben?
It looks like a Duracell battery, but I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's sleek, it's modern. I don't mind it. It doesn't look too bad. I like it.
Alright, Jamie?
I feel like this is one of those rare paint schemes that I would have to see on the track in order to give a real opinion on it. I don't know if for poster purposes, going with a black background really helps the scheme. I don't know. I think it's one of those that I'd have to see better, but for now, based off of a picture, I'd probably give it a red flag.
All right. So I'm gonna give this one a green flag just because I like the way these colors pop. It's not directly a bright orange like what we've seen with some of the other cars. It also isn't like this orange isn't exactly doesn't really match up with any other cars or any other sponsors that we've seen. At least there might be I'm sure there's a couple that I'm probably forgetting about that have a similar ish orange to this, but the fact that it kind of looks like it's got its own unique shade, works pretty well. And this is going to be something I'm going to mention about a lot of the Roush Fenway cars, and I wanted to wait until we got to, I think, the last of the number 6 schemes here to mention. But the way that the Keselowski or the RFK the side design that they added when Keselowski became a co-owner that helps frame the associate sponsors, helps fill out the side of the car where the number used to be, so they make full use of that space, and it's one of the best ways to do it. You have a design that helps frame your associate sponsors, help bring them a little bit of attention on a car even where they aren't the primary. So I like this one. I would give it a green flag, although, again, it isn't something that immediately pops out to me, but I like it when a car has its own shade. There's a bright car.
Oh,
Yup. JP?
Okay, is it daytime yet? Is it daytime yet? That's supposed to be a joke.
I don't know what the joke's a reference to, but...
But I give this one a green flag. It looks like Whitaker is racing got it right. Blue, little bit bluish and everything. Good job, RCR. Green flag.
All right, Ben?
I got 3% left on my phone here. How many more of these?
are you gonna charge it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If we're gonna go through 22 fucking more paint things, I could definitely I'll go charge my phone. Just
Yeah,
send me a
I'll
message
ping you
you're
when we get to
done
the
doing it.
last few. I'll tag you in the chat when we get to the last
All
few.
right, because I've got 2 things to talk about.
All right, yep.
You're
So,
good.
I'll
I'm
tag you
excited
in the
for it.
chat when
Go
we
to charge
get
my
to
phone.
the end.
We're excited for that.
So,
Sounds good.
all right. So, Jamie?
Give this car to me now in a video game. I love the scheme. I love the Memorial Day scheme for it with the star, red, white, and blue. I like this car.
Yeah, it's very patriotic.
Yep. Yeah, I love the stars, even the subtle stripes on the side. You've got the white stripes kind of faded in with the red on the back half of the car.
Yep.
Especially if this car is being run from kind of that Memorial Day stretch through the 4th of July. Now, I don't know the schedule of when they're running this paint scheme, but I gotta say, once I see it on the track, I don't think I'm ever going to want to see it off the track. Although I haven't seen another Kyle Busch paint scheme. I don't know if I was able to get it in this slideshow here, but yeah, there's another one that also looks pretty good, but I don't think it's in the slideshow. But I'll see if I can bring it up at the end. So there we go. Next one right up there. JP?
Alright. Red flag.
Alright.
Sorry, Kyle Busch, but I have to give you a red flag just because it kind of looks similar to what they have the glass do. To me, anyway. Can't wait to hear what you guys think.
All right, Ben.
It's bland. It's just it looks. What is this? A restaurant or something? Or
It's a bourbon brand, I believe, because it says Rebel
Yep,
Bourbon.
Rebel Bourbon.
yeah, it just looks too commercially, too bland. Yeah, I don't like it.
Once again, maybe I'm starting to feel like I'm a little biased on e-cars, but I really like this scheme. I think one from a sponsor standpoint, I think it's a big win for their race team to have Rebel Bourbon, kind of expanding the pendulum of sponsorship opportunities.
Especially where they
But
lost
as
3
far as
G
this-
this offseason.
Mm-hmm. But I really like it. I like it gives you that bourbon feel on the sides. I like it.
Yeah, so when looking at the side, it kind of does give me that more rustic, almost kind of country feel. And then, especially like the Rebel branding being paired up with Rowdy Kyle Busch, I think those two brands will work well together. Now, I will say I kind of wish that they did a little bit more color with the rest of the car, although I'm not surprised to see a kind of just the stripe of color on the side and then the mostly black. Yeah, but I certainly wouldn't say it's my favorite scheme, but I would still give it a green flag. It's a scheme I won't be upset if it ends up running 5, 6, 7, 8 races, even about a third of the races, and I doubt we'll see it at that many, but it's a scheme I will be looking forward to seeing on track. Actually, now that I look at it, it almost kind of looks like an old school kind of treasure map look to the side of the car.
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah, kind of looking at the kind of riffled edges of the as it transitions to the black, it actually kind of looks like a torn bit of a map almost, which I don't know how
Like
that
Red
necessarily
Dead
fits with the
Redemption.
Rebel brand, but it works for me.
It's vintage. That's the
Yep.
word we'll use.
Yep. So now we got our favorite paint scheme that stirred up a little bit of a conversation in the group chat the other day. So, JP?
Okay, it is time for case area. Please. And not to say he's my favorite driver, but I really do like this paint scheme. It's
I think he's the
different.
favorite driver of everybody in here except for me, if I'm not mistaken.
And I think he'll look really good in this paint scheme this year. And also, before I go back on mute, how many more paint schemes we got?
Oh, we got quite a
I
few.
have. Okay, because I have it ready to paint one more when we're done.
Yep. Yeah, so we still got quite a few. When we start getting into the numbers like the 60 and the 70s, that's when I would ping him. But
Yeah. Just for time purposes, though, we may need to do this, save some of these for next week as well.
okay.
Yeah.
So just let me know when you guys
But-
want to cut it off after which number, because yeah.
So I assume we're in Hendrick Motorsports now.
They're sorted by car numbers. So we're at 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, I say go up to 12,
Okay.
and then we'll save some more for next week.
All right, because I know Blaney's only got one. I know Briscoe's only got one. I know the 10 only has one. So I know a lot
Okay,
of
that
the
works.
middle numbers only have one. So this
Yep.
paint scheme
But-
though is only being run at the Clash, so I don't think we need to spend very much time on it. But it's kind of plain and boring to me, especially compared to what his other Napa scheme looks like. I'm not the biggest fan, but under the lights for the Clash, I think it'll look fine.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me like how the NFL has gone like with like the whiteout whiteout games.
Yep.
This is like the NASCAR's version of the whiteout.
Yep.
And
It's very sleek.
hmm Now, me personally, I would love to see this year round. I think it would go well, but again, I found out very quickly that I was in the minority of seeing this as the full time Napa scheme.
Yeah, I just think during the daytime, I think the white's gonna just be a little bit washed out compared to how it'll look under the lights. But I look forward to seeing it next weekend, that's for sure. So, JP, we got another scheme up.
All right. Red flag.
All right.
I'm sorry, Hendrick Motorsports, but get with the program. Like I said, with who got sick at with?
You said no, that was Keselowski's team for the Castrol car.
Yeah. It gets looked the same as when Case Elliott was gone, and when Case Elliott came back and they ran the scheme. Put the scheme to bed, go to sleep, and don't ever use it again. It looks ugly.
All right, Ben.
It looks like something I put on my toothbrush.
Yeah. I don't disagree
I
there.
mean, it's not horrible, but yeah, it's just a generic paint scheme to me.
Jamie?
Yeah, uni first. These schemes have always been my least favorite of the Elliott schemes.
Yeah.
Now again, as a fan, I would feel compelled to get the race shirt of it, but yeah, I definitely am not a fan of the Universe schemes.
Yeah,
They don't
again,
look right.
I always felt like this car worked best as like for like a couple of the night races, like running it under the lights. It definitely looks better under the lights than during the day, but I certainly think that they could have gone in for a bit of an overhaul, potentially just cover the whole thing in that kind of minty, toothpastey teal green. I think cover the whole thing and then start throwing in some slices of the black and white mixed in. But yeah, I think at this point I would like to see a change, but and say if we're only gonna see it say 2 or 3 times a year at night races, I'm not completely upset with this paint scheme, so and they do utilize the door space, so here we go. So here's the one paint scheme we got for the number 10 car so far. JP?
So I'll give this a green flag. It looks way better than it's ever looked before. Good job, Skill Hot Racing.
Alright, Ben?
So, if you were gonna get a Rusty Wallace car, and instead of it being all black, and you made it all gunmetal silver, this is what you're gonna get. I like it. It's sleek. It's basic. I like it. I like the color. I like this gunmetal silver color. So it gets a green flag for me.
it gets a hard red flag for me. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of just the generic test car that they would send out to racetracks that are bland, nothing special, just slapped a logo on there just so you could identify whose car was what.
I mean, I would agree if it was like a different color, but I'm a sucker for gunmetal.
Yeah, no, gunmetal, gray or not, it looks like a test car, not necessarily one that would be on a track during an actual race.
Yeah, I feel like it's missing a ton of I feel like it's missing a ton of color, and it has the colors in the Rush Truck Center's logo. And I know that they've used those colors in the paint schemes for years, but those are the colors of the company. They're not gonna they shouldn't just change the they shouldn't just change up the colors. I mean, like the logo
think-
feels really out of place comparatively versus if you had the car with some kind of yellow and black with red pattern on it.
I think they're going for like a silver bullet look. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I mean,
I
that's
would
just-
agree. I would agree if I saw like more orange or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It still looks like wasted space and
yeah,
bland.
they could have done better with the logos. I agree with that.
Just bland.
So here we go. Number 12.
Huh.
So is this going to be the last game we talk about? All right.
Is this the
JP?
last 12?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the only 12 scheme.
Yeah, it looks the same to me, minus the front. So for that reason, red flag.
All right, Ben?
It's the same thing every year, just different sponsors placed on the front of the hood. I mean, it looks good. Looks like a Pennzoil style, like normal, but I'll get a mid pass.
Great stuff by Menards for not changing how they lay out their cars. All puns intended.
Yep.
I mean, I like the fact that they keep their schemes relatively the same, and they'll rotate it with like rotating the yellow with the green or the blue, but and I like that they try to do some things different. So like for instance that orange curve that goes over the tire well, I do like that. They're adding a little bit more flair to it.
That's been there for a couple of
So-
iterations, but yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying, particularly like that's something that I do like
Yep.
that they added. So I'll give it green.
A little added flair.
I will say, comparing it to the Pennzoil or Menards cars of years past, I will say at least they kept with only one shade of yellow on this one, because they used to have it where they would have an almost like highlighter yellow which didn't match for the color of the rims, but now they don't color the rims pretty much at all. I don't know if that's like a rule that they aren't allowed to color the rims or if they just decided it's cheaper to not color the rims, but yeah, it just kind of feels like the same paint scheme, just a ton of associate sponsors. I mean, look at how many logos are on the side of that thing and on the deck lid. I mean, you got, what is that, 3, 6, 9, 12 logos on the deck lid.
Looks like an old school NASCAR sponsors.
Yeah, with just kind of all the products that Menard sells. Yeah, kind of loading up the deck lid there. I mean, it's all right, but it's just kind of one of those where we've seen it. I'd like to see Menards maybe redesign it, maybe go and take some inspiration from their old number 27 car that they used to run with Paul Menard, get some of that blue mixed back in there, just as something to change it up. But honestly, at this point, especially where we see the Menards car on both this car and the 2, it just ends up getting boring because we see it for nearly every race event. So I think that's everything we were going to do for paint schemes here tonight. Because we were going to save the rest for next time, right?
That is correct.
All right.
And the ground's kind of shaking a little bit, guys. I don't know if you feel that or not. It looks like Ben's car's moving sideways a little bit. He's feeling something coming all the way up
What's
from
happening?
Canada over there. But that could be the product of only one person.
Yeah, Mr.
I
Dingy
know my
Humble.
audio is fucked right now. You guys all sound like fucking. You're echoing. Could you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
I can hear you. What are you rumbling about, Rumble?
Well, I guess I'll just get down to it. There's two things I would like to talk about. I'm actually not rumbling about anything, but the 24 hours they're coming up this weekend. It's to me that was always been a highlight, and since I was a kid, is it means we're going back racing. It's like the start of speed weeks. Is right, like it's always been really big to me. I'm not gonna sit and watch all of it, but I will sit and watch basically what I can catch on what they're gonna broadcast. It's to me it's just a big deal. We're going back racing.
All right.
Any thoughts on that?
I'm looking forward to it. I just saw the entry list is at what 59 cars for the 24 hours of Daytona, which is gonna be a massive entry list. I
That's
look forward to
insane.
watching a ton of the action on track this coming weekend. At least what I can catch. Because I'm gonna be busy working as well, so I gotta kind of balance being able to work and being able to watch the race. So it's gonna be a fun one though.
Okay,
And-
well,
And
okay,
yeah,
your
it was
the
a.
headphones are good. It's your
It definitely
charging
felt like a
one that
nice
that
start
makes
to the speed weeks, especially during
Okay,
that
well,
year
let
where
me
they went to the Daytona road course. Kind of feeling like they just left it set up and NASCAR just raced on whatever was left over from the 24 hours of Daytona when they came and ran the Clash.
There you go.
I know that they didn't do it for very long, but that kind of as the integration kind of felt nice. But now with the Clash being in LA, it does kind of break it up a little bit, but I'm still very much
It does,
happy to
but-
see the Rolex 24 though happening.
Yeah,
I
officially,
think that was what. Go ahead, Jamie. Sorry about it. I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh, you're good. I was gonna say, it is nice to know that in a few short days we are officially back into race season. And
Oh, yeah.
like you, Rumble, I look forward to the 24, the Rolex 24, because it does signify the start of the racing season. It gets me amped up. I know guys at work, they're not necessarily NASCAR fans, but they enjoy fast cars, and the variety of different cars that you see during the Rolex is just a
Right,
great way
absolutely.
to get into the racing mode.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So I'd just like to say that though, since I was a kid, it's always signified to me that we're getting back to racing, like the 24, right?
Yep.
Let's go. I love it. I wanted to bring that up because that's what I was thinking about. And anybody else got anything to say on this subject? Because I only want to talk about one more thing.
I don't know. One thing I do want to, I thought about doing is we could always do an impromptu podcast at the racetrack in Dover one time.
That would be nice. I know at least me and you
would-
could do that, Ben.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Fuck.
That'd be fun.
Well, come to Dover.
Yeah.
You fly into Philly,
Yeah.
I'll pick you up.
Yeah.
I just got to get that passport. I keep telling people I'm going to get my passport. It's sitting up right up in my cupboard, right up here behind me. I just got to set it away and get my stupid passport fucking photo done. And yeah, then probably I should be able to come back to America because I've driven truck into there like fucking 9,000 times. But 9/11 happened. Anyways, Anyways, I digress because I'm just getting off topic here. Yeah, never been to a cup race. I've been to like NASCAR Northwest and that type of stuff, which is local to me. But I would sure love to go party in Dega.
Yeah.
There's no party better than Dega. Those people
I
go
would sure
wild out
love to.
there.
Oh yeah, I belong there. Those are my people.
We have fun at Bristol too when we go to Bristol.
Oh,
You gotta come to
absolutely.
Bristol.
Absolutely, and I love Bristol. I would. What a hoot, man! That'd be great. All right. So
Oh,
the other thing, are we still discussing what I want to talk about?
Yep.
yep.
Yeah,
What
go
Are we?
what else are you rumbling about?
I'm rumbling about I don't know if you guys have read what Toyota's put out about their new car coming up for this year. That they seem like it's the best body they've ever put out on the track already. I was just reading this earlier that the Toyota R&D believe that this car is the best body that they put out on the track to date. Discuss. You know nothing about this or no?
I hadn't seen the articles of them talking about it, but from the looks department, at least on the Toyota Camrys, while I was compiling all the list of the cars, I gotta say the new Camry looks very Tesla-like, or almost like the Supra from the Xfinity series, even. Kind of looks
Okay,
like a
so they
hybrid
were
of those
talking
two.
about. They literally talked about where you can only do so much wind tunnel testing and all that stuff. They put up a computer model that's like. Anyways, they said it's the best feeling car body wise that they have
Are we?
have looked at so far. And to me, that's scary. They're coming out with some. Maybe Chevy won't be able to hang with them anymore. But
Well,
Are we
Ford
referring
also
to the
came
one they
out with
announced?
it's not.
The
Are we
thing
referring
is
to the one
though,
that they announced in November?
Hmm?
Is this the one they announced in November?
I think so,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at it now.
The thing
I
about
was
it
just
is,
I was just looking at NASCAR.com today just because I was looking through there to see what their news is up. Then I just read this today, so maybe
yeah.
it
The thing
was.
about the body of it is, like for them, it could be the best body that they feel like that they put out, but at the same time, if we're going to give an edge to how body structures look, I I gotta give it to Mustang and their new build. No discredit to the Camry. I think, like I said last week early on, I think Chevy is going to have the major advantage because they already know what they got as far as equipment wise.
Okay,
But
fair enough. That's a
come
very
come like a quarter of the way
legitimate point.
in, yeah, come a quarter of the way in to about the halfway mark. That is when you're going to start seeing the Toyotas, the the Fords start to improve, and I honestly think I'm expecting a little bit more out of the Toyotas than the Fords from a performance standpoint. But if we're talking solely on the body build, I like the Ford body builds better.
So I'm looking at a YouTube video. I guess it's iRacing, and they have the new body styles in here, and they have the new Camry, and that looks nice.
And
Well,
that and I'm just saying. I saw the post today that the NASCAR put up. I don't if it was 3 months ago or 6 months ago, that's their fault. But they were talking about today and just talking with Toyota people. They're like, this is the best thing, best product we put out there yet. Right? They were talking about gapping people, like just drafting up on people like crazy. I think this was at Phoenix. I think they were doing testing at Phoenix, and they were dropping up on people, and then when we got out in front of this, step out on them.
What are you thinking, Ryan?
So my thoughts here are that one, when it comes to what you said about, I'm feeling like Chevy's gonna be ahead of the groove, because they know what they've got. I also remember back to the last time that Toyota brought a new body style in, and they swept a race weekend, both stages and the race, with Martin Truex Jr. only 3 weeks in with the brand new body style to start his dominant run towards the 2017 championship. And then you have some of the other designs, like obviously Chevy took a while to get going, and the Mustang took about a half a year to really get into the groove. But for whatever reason, Toyotas seem to be really quick at adapting. I mean, even look at when they went from the Gen 4 to the Gen 5 car. Toyota seemed to adapt. Toyota seemed to adapt a lot quicker than any of the other manufacturers to the new body style. So
I found the article you're referring to.
So I wouldn't be shocked if we see the Toyota, if we see a Toyota versus Chevy, and then Ford is the one that's kind of slowly building speed. Yeah, throughout the season.
Ooh.
But
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. 'Cause, and to your credit, like, yes, that, but then again, that was like a single thing in itself, was just how dominant Martin Truex Jr. was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's ever had a season like that since then.
The
No.
2019 season, I believe he put on about that kind of about that amount of win, about the same amount of wins there during the 2019 season, when all three Joe Gibbs cars went to the championship 4. But it's not like the other Joe Gibbs cars were way off the mark either. I mean, Kyle Busch won 4 races, and he was in contention to win a ton of them before that. I mean, he was on a historically long winless streak for him going into that year, but he ultimately was contending for wins all year. Hamlin won at New Hampshire as well. Even what's his name? Matt Kenseth ended up winning his final career race that year as well. So everybody except for Suarez and Eric Jones managed to win races in Toyotas that year, including 2 of the 4 Championship 4 contenders. So, I mean, Toyota's been pretty good, again, when adapting to new body styles. I mean, wasn't 2013 when they kind of fully rolled in the new body styles for the full Gen kind of 5 to 6 transition, if I'm not mistaken, when they went
I thought it was 2014, but I could be wrong.
Okay, well,
So
I know around that time was when Matt Kenseth had one of his most dominant stretches in his career, when he went and won like 8-9 races en route to a successful season in 2013 for Joe Gibbs. So, all right. And did we have any other topics on the docket for tonight?
I did see open discussion.
Yeah, so if we don't have any other ones on the docket, I can. I do have one that we can go ahead and talk about.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
So, when it comes to the paint schemes that we did get to tonight, which one do you guys think will make the biggest kind of pop on the racetrack this season? Yeah, and this will be our W Energy bold prediction of the night. Which paint scheme do you think is most likely to pop?
Meaning, like, getting the most fan reaction in a positive way?
Yep.
I'm probably going to say it's probably the Ross Chastain Busch Light car.
Yep.
That's probably going to be my vote. Just because Busch Light being a good big sponsor in NASCAR, at the same time, is still a very clean car, and I can see them selling a lot of like shirt apparel with that. that would probably be my vote.
I think that the Busch beer car might take over even more, though, if they introduce a watermelon beer flavor to go alongside him. Tell me that,
They need to.
even though it might
They
not
need
taste
to.
the best, it's got to happen. JP?
So, in my opinion, let's see here. I think red, white, and blue game of Kyle Busch will get the most talk about this season.
I don't think that's even the Kyle Busch scheme that will get the most talk, but we didn't go over the one that I think will get the most talk.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ben.
I think probably the number 8 paint scheme, the red, white, and blue one.
All right.
I think that one.
That's
that
two
one will
for
get
it.
a lot of merchandise sales.
Yeah, I think that one will get a lot of merchandise sales because Kyle Busch himself generates a lot of merchandise sales. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
when it comes to an actual like pop on the track, I have to agree. I think the Busch beer car is probably the most likely one. Not to mention, it's probably the most used by the motorsports fans as a whole. If you're talking about like sponsors that actually get kind of get used by the community, I think Busch Beer is probably used more than any other sponsor.
But just for poll purposes, I would say a close second is going to be the double scheme for Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I think that one will definitely take over the month of May discussion as the Indy, especially if he's doing well in the IndyCar in addition to the NASCAR.
Yeah.
Because I think the prospect of him potentially being able to even contend for a potential win in the double is going to be high.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
And McLaren does really well at the Indy Oval as well.
Yeah, the only question would be is he going to be able to outshine his other teammates in that Indy race? But we'll talk more about that when May rolls around. But
yes, that's going to be a good discussion.
Yep, so I'll send in the group chat the scheme that I think will probably get the most discussion about from Kyle Busch, because I only just saw it today, but I didn't. It was before I realized that was going to be the topic of conversation tonight, so let me see if I can pull it up real quick and just send it to you guys. But any other kind of closing thoughts on any of the paint schemes or any of the other topics from tonight?
No, I think it was a good show. I think just having a little fun, just going over paint schemes was good. Definitely gearing up for Rolex 24. Looking forward to talking about that next week. So I would say it'd probably behoove you guys to, if you're not much of a Rolex 24-hour kind of person, check it out this year. Get a little taste of what some racing outside of NASCAR looks like, and I think it's going to be really fun. A really fun review to talk about next week as we gear up for the Clash.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Seriously though, the 24 hours it fires up speed weeks, it fires up our racing here. Sorry, my racing here. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah,
my racing here.
And then tomorrow, looking forward to racing with you guys tomorrow night. Ben, I'm not sure what your work schedule is, but you may not want to do it because it's Bristol and
the Drunken 500.
But yep, the Drunken 500. So
Bristol's always my favorite track to race at.
So you might want to join us tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 9. Tap into Ryan Dyer's YouTube page to check out the Thomas Cup Series.
I won't be there.
What? Oh, you won't be there for the Drunken 500?
I know. I feel like it's the only one I should show up for, but I think I talked to you already. I talked to a couple people. I'm getting tired of the 50% races.
in the Cup Series. So, anyways, I'll leave it at that. But
Okay,
yeah,
so you
for
want us
the
to go to
Drunken
100%
500,
races. Got it.
exactly, just what I need. So, anyways, I'm maybe I should show up for the Drunken 500. It's a pretty good race.
You should. You should do it at least
I-
for next week or for
I
this
won
week.
it. I won it once, so
Yep.
Yeah, you need to reclaim that title.
that's probably
Chuck's
the
talking
biggest.
big game over there.
To be honest, it's probably the biggest win in my online racing career. It was
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, and we partied almost like we did when JP won the All-Star race.
There
Yep.
you go. Right there, you go.
All right, so real quick, just gonna go ahead and plug our other sponsors. So we got Fanatics. If you guys are a fan of pretty much any sport, Fanatics supplies officially licensed merchandise for the NFL, MLB, NASCAR, NCAA, whatever sport you guys like. Go ahead and gear up with your team and get it at Fanatics. Also, W Energy code. What's the code again? Someone else remember the code?
SSPP10.
Okay, so yeah, use code SSP10 at checkout with W for a 10% off, I believe that is, right?
Yes, 10%
Okay.
off. Yep.
So yeah, and then also check out the Alkyli Project and their new album Blood World, available on all major music platforms. I think that's everything though for plugs, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, we will see you guys back here next week for the Lap Down podcast presented by W Energy.
Deuces!